Hey guys, how's it going? So this week and this month, I guess, of October is a really big month for awareness of certain issues. So we had quite a few to choose from, but I thought that today I would talk about anti-bullying and bullying prevention. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this in another video, but when I was younger, I used to get bullied. It wasn't for a long time. It was like a very short amount of time. It's like so it wasn't something that I think really affected me that much. But all the same, bullying was a big part of my life because it makes you feel very small and very insignificant. And I think one of the biggest problem with bullying is that, especially with young children, the advice will be to go to an adult. And I somehow think that's not the best advice because if you tell a child who's getting bullied to go to an adult, they're not going to, like, hardly ever. In most circumstances, the way you'll find out if someone's getting bullied is if you kind of catch the bully in the act. For example, when I was getting bullied, it did not occur to me to tell anyone, even though my whole life, literally up from when I was in nursery, I'm being told if you're getting bullied, tell someone, tell an adult, they'll help the situation. But I think somehow when you're getting bullied, it seems like that situation is impossible to solve, and any sort of communication with someone else about it then becomes a burden on them, which you don't want to do. So you essentially just ignore the issue and let it carry on. Ultimately, anti-bullying is so important that we need to just somehow prevent that of bullying, if that makes sense. Like, there shouldn't be advice like go to a teacher if you're getting bullied. It should be to kids, don't bully. I think it was more so said to me that if I am getting bullied that I should see a teacher than to other children to not bully anyone. And maybe that's an issue. And I think a lot of the time children don't understand what bullying is. Sometimes like saying nasty names to them is some sort of joke, and obviously it's not funny to the person who's getting bullied, but as a child it's almost like they need to learn. And I'm not saying that it's okay to bully and that it's okay to make these mistakes because it's a learning curve, because it's 100% isn't. We need to be aware that more often than not, children do not understand that the words they say can have a damaging effect. I think another issue to do with bullying is that there's often a stigma surrounding it, and there's often a lot of shame surrounding it as well. I think this is a lot to do about the reason why the child get bullied, like the bully's motive. And I think more often than not, it's because the child is different in some way. And I think as soon as we kind of get rid of stereotypes and stigmas and the shame that is attached to these sort of labels, then we're like well on our way to kind of creating a like safer environment, an environment that's more tolerable, and an environment that will understand these differences. Because like I say, I think bullying comes from a lack of understanding on one part and insecurity on another. So we need to find a way to tackle both these issues, and then possibly we can work towards having bullying as less of an issue. I also think that another misconception about bullying is that bullying has to be amongst peers or colleagues or someone of the same age or whatever else. And I think a lot of the time people do not realise that you can also be bullied by adults, and I think this is a big thing, especially for teenagers. Because it's not really seen as bullying. Bullying is seen as something that's on the playground and all that sort of stuff. But if someone is making you feel insignificant, or they make you feel bad about something that you may or may not have control over, then they are bullying you in a sense, because they are openly ridiculing something that you either can't change or something that makes you happy. And that is in no way right. So it doesn't matter what age the person is or what age you are, bullying is bullying. And I think that's one thing that we also need to work on, because we work so hard to prevent bullying in schools, but there's also bullying that happens in a domestic environment. and this can be like, you know, from siblings, from parents, or whoever else, or a partner. And you know, it can lead to much more serious issues than, for example, if you are in a relationship, there needs to be some form of communication where you're talking to this person and you're saying, you do not make me feel good about myself, and that in itself should be enough for them to sort of change their attitude. And if it isn't, then honestly, you're not surrounding yourself by the right people. I think the main thing to do is find a support system that is benefiting you, a support system where you can feel love and compassion no matter what your choices are. I think a lot of the time people that are bullied think they're alone, because I for sure thought that I was alone. But I'm going to tell everyone watching this right now that you're never alone. Whatever your issue is, whatever someone thinks they have the right to ridicule you or make you feel bad about yourself, they don't. And honestly, you have to try not to allow them to have that power over you. Because once you start loving yourself, then you're going to be a much better person just generally. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And yeah, subscribe to Flurt. Check out the fall issue, which is out now, which I will also link below. And yeah, have a great weekend, guys. Bye.